Hey guys, welcome back to Coin Knowledge. So today we're going to be talking about Vendetta Games again. We've talked about this project in the past, a couple of months ago when the project did launch. I brought it to your guys' attention early on, and today I want to give you guys my updated opinion now that the chart has had time to kind of form itself and potentially find a bottom. And as we're seeing the markets potentially see a shift maybe towards the upside here in the near future, I want to let you guys know, some of these projects that we have covered that have been dipping a lot over the last several months now that could be in accumulation zones, but as always, nothing I say in this video is financial advice. Please understand that this, especially crypto as a whole, but especially when you're looking at such small market cap projects like Vendetta, the risk only goes super high. Obviously, the lower market cap you go, the higher the risk. Typically, so please understand that. And if you guys are a fan of crypto gaming and kind of projects like this that are bringing to your attention early on before they do their massive runs potentially, consider subscribing to the channel and liking the videos. Your support means everything. So if we look at Vendetta Games, we can see here, again, this project did launch, I believe, March 12th of this year. So, it's been out for roughly 3 months now, 2 to 3 months now, so it has had time to kind of form a little bit more of a chart than the last time we covered Vendetta. Now, one thing I do want to make note of is that they did update their website. Now, there is one key element on this website that I do want to point out. Now, if you're not familiar with what Vendetta Games is, it is a gaming ecosystem, so it's not just one individual game. Now, we talk about this all the time when we talk about gaming projects in the space, in the gaming sector, which I do believe is going to be one of the leading narratives of this cycle, will be gaming. If you believe the same thing, please let me know in the comments below. Now, we talk about the fact that if when investing in gaming projects, some people have the stance of, tokens should give you exposure to multiple games just because you're spreading your bets across multiple products instead of just one individual game and product. Now, that is a fair stance, and I do agree with that a little bit. But again, that's not, no rule is white and black. But with Vendetta Games, you are getting exposure to multiple products all underneath one native token. So if we take a look here, they do say that Vendetta Games creating and publishing innovative games with immersive blockchain technology. So they state here what they're a little bit more about. Now, I don't want to focus so much on the website just because we've covered it in the past and you can get on here and see it yourself. Now, they are built on the Polygon network, which I do find interesting because, we are seeing more gaming projects shift to alternative chains outside of Ethereum. So I do believe that gaming projects that are built off of Ethereum, so, stuff like Polygon, Solana, Avalanche, will do well because, let's face it, a lot of people don't want to pay Ethereum gas fees. And I think that this bull cycle, we're really going to see layer 2s and alternative chains really take off and get more dominance than gaming projects in the gaming space, than projects built on Ethereum. Just for that same stance. See the max supply, 100 million. As well, they have their contract address. You can buy it on different places here, which we'll take a look at a little bit more in the future as well. So again, they break down their tokenomics, all the different allocations. We'll be taking a look at their vesting schedule later on in this video, so please stick around. If they say here, they have their three main games. Their Chalk River, which is going to be their flagship game, which is more of like a open world metaverse game, which it actually does look pretty solid if you see some of the gameplay here on their Twitter, or you can visit their dedicated website for Chalk River. They have the Three Kingdoms, which is another one of their big games, which they say, the world of the Three Kingdoms, where history meets virtual reality as well. So, again, that also looks very interesting. Black Tides, which is kind of like a pirate game, which, I like pirate games. I'm not saying this is like that, but Assassin's Creed Black Flag was a huge fan. Let me know in the comments below if you agree. But again, these are different games of different genres, which could help obviously attract different player bases. Now, one thing I do like, which I critiqued in the past on the last Vendetta Games video, is that they didn't have their team on their website, whereas they have always had a docs team. Their CEO Alex has been on multiple AMAs in the past. Now they do have it on their website. They have their team fully doxed here, LinkedIn's, and again, they've done AMAs in the past anyway, so you were able to find them. But I do think it's that kind of reassurance that investors do want to have when they are looking at projects in the space, because I think this time around, this cycle, gaming projects that don't have a docs team, easy to find, I think are at a huge disadvantage over projects that do have a docs team, just because, again, not that it is necessarily 100% required. it is just that layer of reassurance that investors are now starting to look for. So that is good to see. And again, you can watch AMAs with Alex there to see his background, but he does seem very passionate on the project. Now they do have some pretty decent partners here. They are partnered with Immutable X there, Neo Tokyo as well, Trust Swap, Polygon Studios, Bull Perks as well, just to name a couple. And then again, that's kind of towards the end of their website. They have the different socials down here. Also, you look at their YouTube to see some more gameplay of their products. But again, when we're looking at the ecosystem, not just one individual game. I know this is kind of like their tagline, an ecosystem with a score to settle. Because if you haven't put it together by now, Vendetta Games is definitely playing on as far as like their main offerings, they're playing on the Wild West. I've heard people say that, it could be kind of like that Red Redemption on the blockchain a little bit. Just that style, that genre of gaming, which, hey, I love that. I love those games. So, that sounds good to me. But again, they do say they have 7 ecosystem games. They have 50,000 plus members. And again, at such a relatively low, fully or total supply of a token, I think that is, a bullish factor to say the least. Now, again, if we look back at their chart, they see that it's been out for a little bit. They have gotten, some unlocks out of the way. Now, there is still going to be some dilution to obviously address here, because if we go to the overview here on CryptoRank, we can see that right now, according to CryptoRank, obviously if you look at CoinMarketCap, it says that it's about an 850,000 market cap. CryptoRank says about 1.5 million. Obviously, you can just kind of average between there, but I think usually I can rely on CryptoRank a little bit more, and it's generally safer to, aim higher than lower, if that makes sense. So we'll go off CryptoRank today. So even at a $1.5 million market cap for a gaming ecosystem with a docs team, products that they can show off and big partnerships, I think that this is a sleeping altcoin right now in the space, one that I'm very bullish on. Now, I do wish that maybe they had chose, something like Avalanche or Solana. So I think Polygon was an interesting choice, but we haven't seen Polygon really run as hard as other L2s and other alternative chains yet this cycle. So I think Polygon will have its time in the spotlight, especially when it comes to gaming. So, and we're seeing, pretty good titles come to the Polygon network as well as far as gaming goes. So I think that Polygon obviously will have a space there with stuff like Nakamoto Games, Bad Mad Robots, building over there as well. So if we look here, again, with a market cap of 1.5 million and a fully diluted of 14.5 million, obviously the elephant in the room is that there's some vesting that has to get done here. If we look here, it says that there's, just shy of, we'll just call it 10% that is currently unlocked at this current time. They do have some of their bigger unlocks coming out here in, the near future. We can see the different allocations here that get broken down. Now, this summer is going to be a lot of heavy dilutions, as usually the heavier parts of vesting schedules and dilutions usually occur in the beginning, just because it's so much easier to double the supply when it's a low amount currently out. Again, if that makes sense. If not, let me know in the comments below, and I can see if I can describe that a little bit easier to you to kind of make it make sense in a way. But if we look at where I personally think, just given off the 4-year Bitcoin or bull market cycle, I think that we could just guesstimate towards the end of 2025 for a potential top. So we'll go December just to, again, go longer than expected. Again, might as well just go longer to be safe. But if it's if it's before then, if it's after then, cool. But just to give a baseline, we'll go December of 2025. It says that there should be about 69% of the supply out. So if there's only 10% now, we're looking at about a 7x in dilution, which, yes, that is high. But again, when you look at the fact that this summer alone in the next 90 days, there is going to be pretty big unlocks. So if we're looking by the time of even just August, there's going to be 25% of the supply out, which at that point it would make the dilution only potentially about a 2 to 3x in dilution. So it is something where if you want to wait until more vesting and more dilution gets solved and kind of closes the gap in that dilution, then that is always a strategy. Again, to each their own. Full disclosure, I do hold a position in Vendetta Games. Now, my position in Vendetta makes up a very, very small portion of my portfolio. As I always say with these nano, micro cap altcoins, when you're investing into stuff like this, it should potentially be nothing I say is financial advice. Obviously, just so you know what I'm doing, how I look at these kind of investments, I would treat these as a very, very small portion of your portfolio. And obviously, as with everything in crypto, but especially when you get into such low market caps like these projects, only put in what you're willing to lose, because there is a chance that stuff like this just goes to zero and it never gets, spotlight put on it. But I do think, we've seen the volume be very, very, not that bad, especially given the low market cap here. And we saw about a couple days ago at the time of recording this video, Vendetta did shoot up to about 20 cents. So obviously, I think there was just a spotlight there. But again, with a low market cap like this, it does not take much to make something like this go up. And we look at the exchange listings, it's really only on Gate.io and Uniswap and QuickSwap, so DEXs. So, nothing really that great as far as exchanges go. Again, Gate.io and DEXs, that's nothing as far as exposure goes to, most investors who don't use decentralized exchanges and they only use centralized exchanges. Gate.io, I know, can't be used in a lot of countries, like the US is a popular one that can't be used in. And just as an exchange, it's not one of my favorites personally. So I do think there's potential for this to potentially get listed on stuff like Mexi, Bitmart, maybe Bybit in the future, which would obviously give a lot more opportunity to get access to the token to more investors. Now, those could be potential catalyst events for this ecosystem, but time will only tell. But I do think that Vendetta does have the potential to give some pretty decent returns on the short to midterm. Now, again, one thing you have to ask yourself is, if you do decide to get involved with a project like this, not saying that you have to, because again, you make your own decisions. Obviously, I'm just giving you my opinion and what I'm doing. You have to make the decision if you're going to hold off and see what happens with this project, or if you're going to start DCAing, or if you want to wait until the dilution again does kind of close the gap a little bit more throughout the bigger unlocks this summer that we can see that are going to be occurring. That's something that you have to, weigh yourself. But I like Vendetta Games. I like what they're doing. I like their new website. I like that they have their team on there. I like that they have multiple products all underneath their one umbrella as well. They have a low supply. And again, when it goes in the fact of dilution, a lot of these gaming projects that we're seeing launch recently, a lot of them have 10x in dilution or more that we're seeing. And Vendetta Games also was building throughout the bear market. We had talked about them. They had only recently launched their token this year, but they were here. They were building throughout the bear market. So I respect teams that stuck around and found a way to do so. So let me know in the comments below, guys, what you guys think of Vendetta Games. If you have questions for me, please comment them below. I like to answer all you guys' comments, or join the free Discord linked below as well. We're trying to build a community over there, and I appreciate all you guys. Otherwise, if you got value out of today's video, if you guys can like the video, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, see you guys.